Hello Internet, my name is Jake and I will be your host today for what is a riveting experience for all 7 of you that are going to tune in. This is the commentary for our Doctor Who film No More, and with me today I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. Kyle Sherlock.
Hello, it's good to be here.
It's good to be here.
It is very good to be here.
It's good. Well, be here, I'm in your house. So
yeah, it's good to be in my house though.
It's good to be in your house. So yes, this is actually the first time, like you were saying, this is the first time we've actually both sat down and watched this.
Yeah, we watched it at our little premiere, but you don't really get a chance to talk about it. And we've never really had a chance to really kind of discuss everything we did, like posthumously.
So yeah, hopefully we can offer some insight into the madness that was that filming week, the post-production process, and everything in between. So here we go. Now, originally this text was completely different, wasn't it? I think I asked you to reword this quite late, just as the trailer was going up. I think I asked you to reword this text.
Did you send it to me as like a Word file?
I think so, yeah.
It kind of rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah, and it just sounds so much better now.
Well, what can I say?
What can you say?
I like the kind of space noise you have in the background here as well.
Reused from Lost Souls, I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Like, it opens, Lost Souls opens on a planet to this sound.
Oh, is it the same like Planet CGI as well?
Yeah, it is, just remodelled Mars. Now this shot is something that you thought of right from the start, didn't you?
Well, I think like the first couple of minutes in general, I'd had the idea. It was kind of like a visual idea, like a thematic, kind of thing.
This was scripted completely differently, if you remember. There was going to be soldiers with dialogue. And it was like during filming I just thought, let's just jump back to the original idea.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Which was just the Doctor watching a battle, which for me works a lot better anyway.
Yeah, I like the idea that even though he's so far away that it's just the North Wales vista on fire.
Obviously.
He's still got a good idea of exactly who's being killed and when.
Yeah. You know, the face is very much, I've done this all before, I'm not getting involved for like the 50 millionth time.
Yeah. Look at that. Not my natural expression at all, unless I'm in work.
Obviously.
And then that is exactly what I look like.
I'm not getting involved at all. Again, that is, that was one of the very first concept ideas, Doctor watching a nuclear explosion happen.
I mean, let's just talk about this actually, because while the titles roll by, because, it all transpired back to when The Many Doctors was filmed. And you asked me if I wanted to be one of the doctors in that.
Yes.
And then I asked you if I could, yes, but can I please, just kind of come up with a costume for it,
yes.
And kind of, because I mean, I'm not going to lie, what had happened basically was that I've been playing a lot of Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, I remember.
And there's so many references. I mean, not just references, but we do use the music in literally the next scene as well.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I'd said to you was we should definitely have a nuclear explosion.
Yeah. No, I remember. And
that's just as like a subtle kind of. It's almost like a homage to where the inspiration came from, I guess.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I think when we were shooting The Many Doctors, we quickly realised what a shame it would be just to throw away this character.
You did say that,
on a parody episode.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, as we were filming The Many Doctors, that the first little moments popped up for this.
Yeah.
In terms of where we'd go if we made a full length with our own War Doctor.
Can I just say as well that these opening shots are like some of my favourite moments in the entire thing.
Like the long shot where the wide shot where he walks across and it says the death zone behind him.
Yeah, it's just brilliant.
Although I will say in this scene, originally he was supposed to check the little red device that he uses to check how long it is before the moment explodes. It's in the script that he checks the device, but that was at the end of the day and we were exhausted.
Yeah.
So that's the very first shot of No More.
And it was about 30 degrees, 31 degrees, something
baked.
like that.
Watching you and Amy go fisticuffs, I remember thinking, dear God.
I mean, you and Mike were just stood there with the equipment,
Yeah.
and roasting away.
Yeah.
But in that costume, it was.
Yeah, full
God,
on.
it was hot.
Full on woolly cloak, and something over your face as well too.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Because it was like so humid inside
Collecting
that mask.
damp and growing plants and stuff.
Basically.
Yeah. And we have Amy Holmes, who arguably is one of the best casting decisions that, besides yourself, that Tricorums Productions has ever decided to do.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's been involved in the, the Tricorums series over the years, has been great in their acting abilities, but I think Amy really does kind of outshine everyone. I think it'd be fair to say.
Well, I always think of the big Tricorums villains. Morticus is number one.
Yeah.
Cast Ice is number two. But if anything, Amy's Commander Sage, the Rani, is right up there, maybe joint second, because of how good this performance was.
Yeah.
In terms of memorability. I would have done that shot differently. I was not happy with the special effects.
Any reason?
It just wasn't. In my head it was supposed to be a focus pull originally, but I couldn't get it to work. So thankfully I filmed coverage, knowing that the effects might turn out shit, which they did. I think I remember you saying as well you and Amy weren't massively happy with your performances in this scene.
Yeah.
But it actually worked out better.
I think it's just that because it was the first scene where we were acting.
Yeah.
It does take a bit of time to get into character.
Yeah, of course.
Once you even start, actually performing as them.
Yeah, but I think it actually works out better because there's natural hostility towards each other, which and that is just a camera lens for anybody asking. That was during the prop hunt, and I just thought, yeah, I've searched enough.
Also, that knife is the same knife used to kill Natalie Roberts, I believe.
The one that nearly killed me during filming, but we won't go. Yeah, memories. That's one of the last shots that we did. Obviously, edited in to look like it's...
Because it's in John's garden.
It was. As all classic moments are. I love this bit. It just flows so well.
I remember this bit here, we've got to turn around, put the dagger in there, get the screwdriver out in time. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen.
This one shot coming up now, out of all the shots I'd do it again, because if you look, I wobble as I do the focus pull between the Doctor and the Sonic, and if there's any shot in the film that I'd want to shoot again, it would be that shot.
Well, I couldn't really notice it even with you saying it then, I've got to be honest.
Okay.
But I suppose, you're the one who filmed it, you would notice literally everything, wouldn't you?
Well, it was only after we shot it. It was after you'd gone back to Newcastle, I was looking over all the footage and going, oh dear God, we should have done that again. Specifically hey, let's trek out back to Thurston. Oh, this is a very... I remember when John first read the script, he was not comfortable with this scene because it's the Doctor killing somebody.
Yeah. Which I think is a fair point because that is a very big thing in the canon series, isn't it?
Yeah. John Brown also was shit, he'd kill someone. Are you sure about this?
But I think...
For me, it straight away that is your character dished out completely. It's still the Doctor, but he doesn't give a shit.
I think because there's a point later on. I mean, he says in the conversation there, I don't use guns.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the episode, he does use a gun.
Yeah.
And it's
it's what somebody will do in the circumstance.
You can have all these morals and these ethics, but in certain situations, you've got no choice.
No.
But to do what you need to survive, and if that means going against your morals, you know.
And don't forget, there's that bit in Soon where he sort of chokes the Time Bandit right after the Rani said he will kill every single one of us.
Yeah.
And then Lupos says
not
dead, and he's I prefer to avoid that where necessary.
Yeah.
So he's still the Doctor underneath. Also, I love that shot.
I do as well, and some more Mark Morgan playing here as well, which I really enjoyed. Just these whole bunch of scenes.
Yeah,
wandering around with that music playing. Mm-hmm. It's really just to set the scene of what Gallifrey's like at the moment, isn't it?
Well, originally that scene was supposed to be a lot longer, but we were so baked on the day that it just got cut.
Interesting fact for anyone kind of in any doubt as well, that shot of the sun was actually the shot of the sun when we were there.
That isn't actually the shot of the sun. That is that is shots from stock footage.
You did take a shot of the
I
sun,
did,
as
but
I
it was
recall.
it just the sun shot that I found was a lot better.
Well, I've learned something new today.
You learned something new today.
But the sun was like that.
Yeah. Also, groundbreaking moment. This is the first time Tricorums Productions has Daleks in conversation and doing their thing. You know, me and Mike. It was one of the last things we did in the post-production process was record these Dalek lines.
Yeah.
Actually, very late in the day, we swapped places. 'Cause originally, I was going to be the other Dalek. Because it was a slightly higher pitched Dalek. We went with the deeper the Dalek, the more authority it has.
Yeah, which is why James does.
Which is why Greek is doing the Barry White Dalek, which we affectionately called it. It was so bizarre, I hardly had to put any filters on James's voice.
Really?
Because he just went into a Dalek straight away.
Whose leg was that?
That is Amy's leg.
Amy's leg.
I should have credited it really as leg Amy Holmes.
Also, the Daleks are the first time where any of the core Tricorums cast are actually in this.
Yes.
And that's quite a long time, I think, for a Tricorums video. Possibly the longest time in any episode.
Well, there was so much an attempt just to shift this away from everything that had been done so far. So obviously, new cast. There's no Doctor Who music used at any point apart from the opening titles. It's all its own beast rather than anything laying onto previous continuity. Also, shout out to James.
Oh, absolutely.
What a god. Our original Lupos dropped out
9 o'clock in the morning
when we were due to start shooting at 10:30. So we had to recast that morning, and James was upgraded from a little cameo as a time bandit to one of the best characters in it.
Well, he was just giving Amy a lift, as I recall.
Yeah.
And he had a cold at the time as well. He wasn't feeling well, and he was
a bit phlegmy first day, I remember.
And he was like, I'll do it.
Yeah. It was like oh dear God, they need help.
So we would have had to cancel the entire thing.
Yeah.
After that whole day of
filming. I remember quickly thinking, okay, if I shift Friday to Tuesday, I was thinking about swapping days around.
Yeah.
To what we could film, but if it wouldn't have worked properly or anything like that, and just the relief when James said he'd do it was, and then it turned out that he was, if anything, he was a better version of Lupos than I could have possibly imagined.
Oh, he does a great job.
Yeah.
I think James has got like a great innocence about him,
which works so well for the character.
Because he's just very.
Because his character is very much sort of wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
And he's just, his character is slave to the perils around him.
Yeah.
So like you say, he's just so innocent with everything, and he's here against his will. He doesn't, he only gets out of this situation because, ironically, the Daleks attack the outpost that he's at.
And to my knowledge, he's never really done acting before. I think he does a lot of voice work.
Yeah.
I know he enjoys characterization a lot, but I don't think he's ever acted in a live action thing.
No.
And you wouldn't guess.
No, not at all.
Because he's great.
Not at all. I did like this scene, even though it took 4 hours or something, and James was saying D&D's at 7 o'clock or something, which normally I'd have been like, what the fuck, but the fact that he stepped in at the last minute.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't have to at all.
No. That's one of my favourite shots.
It's a good shot.
I am a fan of that.
And I wanted to go to D&D as well, so...
Oh, yeah. I wasn't a massive fan of this scene looking back because it was a little bit expo heavy.
Almost.
But it was kind of it was important explanation that had to be the power, obviously the paradox grenades, or the Mobius device. It was such an important plot device that it kind of had to be almost obnoxiously rammed home what it did, so that when it pops up during the final fight later on, everyone knows what it does.
Well, I think it's good because you get the exposition out early, and then people it's established then what this is, what it does. The Doctor's got one. But enough time passes that you completely forget he's got it. And then when it does crop up, you're like, oh, the paradox grenade.
I think you put it best after the premiere in that the final maybe 10 or 15 minutes is a completely different entity to the rest of the film.
Yeah, it is.
But you don't appreciate it without all this build up first.
It suddenly feels like it's come back to Tricorums at the very end.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, but also...
I mean, from the moment that the Dalek escapes that explosion of its ship, and from the long shot onwards, it's a massive payoff to everything that's come before it.
Yeah.
Also, I love how You know, for all intents and purposes, you are that, even if you are like 2 inches shorter because of an incline.
I know, yeah. So, you know, he's from a recent point in the future. Maybe after an anvil dropped on his head or something, or like just squashed him.
His foot's chopped off and he's just hobbling back in. This shot took about 11 takes because the camera movement, obviously it's like a lazy pan.
I remember it taking quite a while.
And I got very sweary because it was the last shot of the day and had enough by this point. I think I was wearing this shirt as well.
Was this the last shot of the day?
It was one of the last shots. This was, I think these two were the last few shots of the day.
I mean, obviously it wasn't filmed in the order it's...
No, of course not.
Kind of shown.
It was kind of close, but...
Because I know this was on the same day, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. This was at the end of the rainy day when we decided... Go on, let's shoot this, because all the morale of everybody else was up, but my spirit had been crushed.
Oh yeah. Well, we encountered a lot of. I mean, there was another guy who was supposed to play this time Bandit.
Yeah.
And another great shout out to Matt Cook, who once again stepped in, and to be fair, is one of the best physical actors I've ever seen.
Yeah, his obviously infamous shot that I've used an awful lot in the promotion work of him getting exterminated and flying back.
It's incredible.
That's just him full on going for it and throwing himself backwards into a bush.
Yeah, no safety mats.
You know, he wasn't getting pulled back by a rope or anything. It was just him being an absolute champ.
He threw himself back onto the floor.
Yeah, obviously the quintessential cast is you and Amy, but without James and Matt, you know,
it wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened, and it's important to say that.
So I always like to point out here as well that there is a time bandit here that is me.
Yeah,
and
that's just the level of doubling up going on.
Yeah,
and that's James as the other one there.
Yeah. It turns out the Doctor and Lupus have infiltrated us.
Yeah,
they're right there.
This is my mate John Brown. From university, just an absolute beautiful guy.
Yeah.
I remember voicing a lot of concerns during pre-production about so little time, and he said, "Well, tell me when you're filming, and I'll come and help." So he was also a boom operator on the Friday, which was a massive help as well.
He's just such a nice, pleasant guy.
Yeah.
Because this was a week that was filled with like morale just pouring out of the window, you know.
He was like a nice shot in the arm right at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Well, not at the end of the week, but he provided like a nice G up.
It just made it feel like it was happening again, because he could just really lift the atmosphere without really doing much.
Also, I love this was a complete accident. The music flowed so well for this part. Like as the Dalek comes in, it swells.
That ominous.
And it was but it was a complete accident. The music was underneath. This is a piece that you recommended to me, and it just so happened to naturally fit. And it just worked so well with what had already been edited. I liked your performance there. It was subtle. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've voiced my concerns about my acting in the past. I mean, the previous stuff I've been in wasn't great. I think I've got a tendency to ham it up a bit too much, but I really did try very hard to give a better performance in this.
I mean, my favourite part is your speech that's coming up in a bit. We just got a comment on that.
Oh yeah, I did see
about how it was one of their favourite parts of the whole film.
Weirdly, like for me personally, like in my performance, it's one of my least favourite parts.
Right.
But I still like it.
Yeah.
It's still. I don't really think there's any part of this where I don't like my or anyone else's performances.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very, and I think it's very difficult to film an entire piece where you're happy with everyone's acting at all times.
Also, this scene coming up now, I very nearly cut at the last minute, because it's, for people watching our stuff for the first time, it makes very little sense. Even though this is almost shot for shot, the opening for Sorrow of the Bloodline, where where the camera swings around and everything, it's like the exact same pathway. Obviously, it's a lot slower, but that's almost the exact same camera motion.
Yeah.
When you and Stevens went running through there.
I quite like it though, because it kind of gives people that almost like the inclination to go and watch our other stuff.
Yeah.
Without saying to them, you should go and watch our other stuff. And even having kind of seen it, very clever by the way, because obviously I played young Morticus and you completely avoided my face. I think.
Yeah, deliberately done.
Chris Stevens.
Being Chris Stevens. But yeah, deliberately not putting your face in because it would take everyone out the moment. Like, oh, is this that same character and all that?
Literally, the only 2 times in the past 10 years where I've had short hair, both in the same shot.
Typical, isn't it? This scene was quite difficult to film, and audio-wise, this was quite difficult because the road is just
I remember
over
this.
there.
This did take quite a while.
Yeah, this infamous trackway is where The Many Doctors was filmed.
Yeah.
Just seems to be the go-to place because just down 2 minutes away is the Dimensions of Morticus. So this whole cop area is just like Tricorums wood.
Well, the scene later on where the Doctor and the Rani have their kind of final showdown, that's
just down there. That's literally you walk past it during this scene. Obviously, editing and filming trickery, you're none the wiser.
I mean, we'll talk about that when it comes up, because we had obviously the funny incident with the horses.
Oh god! Well, no, that scene you're talking about. Oh god, that was a priceless moment. I thought you meant the bit in a minute where.
No, the end.
Yeah,
the end bit
fair.
Where all the good stuff happens.
That focus pull took about 6 or 7 takes as well. I did love this scene. Now, if I remember, during this, it started to rain because it was Thursday.
Yeah, the weather, it got slowly worse. Not worse, it slowly got milder and milder because it was a gorgeous week.
Yeah.
And then, it was like the second to last day. It was like,
Yeah.
And then obviously by the last day, it was absolutely torrential.
Yeah, which we'll touch on, obviously,
yeah,
later on, but it was like midges and rain and everything. This was one of the very first things I thought of for this episode, because this is actually something that is missing during the 50th anniversary. The whole, why is the Doctor destroying Gallifrey as well as the Daleks?
I think someone commented on that as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
But that is why you put the speech in.
Yeah, because it's kind of like it's justifying your motives, which, it fits your Doctor, the whole, it's fucked, it's all fucked.
Well, if you don't mention it, it's essentially one massive plot hole, isn't it?
Yeah, why is he doing it? Now, obviously, Doctor Who fans know, obviously, yes, this is the classic Doctor Who plotline of the Time War and the fact that he destroyed his own race. But this just adds another layer to it.
Yeah.
For both Doctor Who and for our version of the Doctor. I don't care what you say, you smashed it.
I mean, that's the great thing about this, because I think a lot of people, with a lot of the Doctor Who fan films, is that it's intended to be canonical with the existing Doctor, whereas ours is a completely separate kind of iteration of what Doctor Who might have been.
Yeah, well, it states that at the beginning for anyone coming in, that Tricorums is essentially a parallel universe.
Yeah.
So the Time War happens in every version of reality, but there's different outcomes, and obviously this is another universe to the one that the show has done.
Yeah. It's just a long speech, isn't it? I
It
forgot how long it was.
No, it was great. And we needed that character to go in.
I remember wandering around the woods for ages, just memorising it.
Fighting the combine harvester that kept coming back and forth and interrupting.
Oh, yeah.
And then obviously it starts to rain here, so we had to... And then the Time Bandit bit was supposed to be obviously, it turned out fine, the Time Bandit chase sequence to come up, but it was... Like, the shots I had in my head that we're going to have were going to be, like... Just... They would have been better. Even though I'm perfectly happy with how it's turned out.
Yeah. This shot as well. This shot's incredible. How good is it? I mean, got to talk about the take where
Amy fell over.
Matt literally pushes her to the ground, which he nearly does in that take there as well. But I love Matt's running in a second,
right? Like he barges past,
just the arms, he's very animated. And
yeah,
it's just really good.
It sells itself well to someone whose face and eyes are completely covered.
Yeah.
So you have to go through it with a more physical performance. As I say, so you've got the soaked ferns there, and then obviously this is another day of filming.
Yeah.
Where everything's bone dry again.
I mean, every time though, just talking about Matt again, every time he's in a shot, he does something that is so visually impressive.
Yeah. And this is yours truly doubling up, because this was the day that our original Time Bandit dropped out, and the day had to be planned so meticulously that everything that I was in was shot first to get it out of the way with, so I could just focus on filming.
Yeah.
And all of Amy's side of dialogue was filmed over about 2 hours, and then we quickly got your reverse.
Yeah.
It was this stuff first that might involve me, and the shots with as most people as possible. And then, so that shot of you looking away then was actually filmed near wrap, and this was filmed at the very start of the day. Such was the whole sporadic nature. But it did cause a continuity issue.
Oh, really?
Where my time bandit should have been in the shot and he wasn't, so I had to like use coverage. Thankfully, you know, none the wiser.
Yeah.
This is arguably one of my favourite bits of Amy's performance.
Yeah, she's great.
Because you just see like her eyes go. I love that shot.
Also, it's the first time that Mike has been in it now, I think, as well. So
obviously he'd been on Boom for up to this point. But
he was there all week, wasn't he? But it's good to see kind of seeing there on screen when he's played such a pivotal role in season.
Yeah, of course.
Well, just from the very beginning, really.
Do you know why the doctor carried?
Again, the different. You know, you'd be none the wiser. These shots were done hours apart, but that's just the nature of it. Oh. I think how this was done. This is something that goes over a lot of people unless you've got really good headphones. But the heartbeats that are added in,
it's too
hard
hard,
for Time Lords, and it's something that again came to me whilst I was editing it.
Is that canon, by the way? That if
Time Lords have two hearts.
If you separate the hearts, they can't regenerate.
No, I kind of made that up. But Time Lords, there are instances where they die where they can't regenerate, like if they're shot in the head. Or there was that Time Lord during the battle at the start in Arcadia where he's starting to regenerate and he gets shot. And that is just an instance of, well, if a Time Lord is stabbed at such an important point, he can't regenerate.
There's a big reveal.
This is the reveal, which a lot of people have said they didn't see coming, which is nice.
Yeah, that is kind of... Why would you, though? Because, I mean, I think you were quite chuffed with yourself for making it the Rani. Because
the Rani was a last minute thing. Writing the script originally, she was just going to be some Time Lord.
Yeah.
That was upgraded quite late in the day to the Rani. I think originally she was going to be just another person from the Doctor's past that knew of Morticus and stuff. She got, you know, it made total sense. I had to slightly tweak her character a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the Rani is involved, like, her character is about, like, you know, the fact that she was exiled from Gallifrey and stuff like that. That's all canon to the show. So I felt like it was important just to add a layer of consistency to the character.
Yeah.
But your and Amy's back and forth here is just fabulous. And this reveal of, like, you know, this is arguably my favourite piece of your acting, when the Dalek transmission pops up and you just see your face drop.
That there,
yeah, that little moment, and it just cuts obviously to the Dalek transmission, and we get Barry White Dalek coming in.
I think from the moment that we kind of get caught unawares by Rani there, to the very end, I mean, the whole thing's great, but it really picks up
a
here.
gear. Yeah, goes up a gear. I completely agree with you. And obviously, it's once this scene's over that, like, it doesn't take its foot off the gas for the entire thing. This is obviously, this scene is it shifting into gear, if you like.
Yeah, this is where the payoff begins, really, for investing. Time into watching it. So
the Imperial Dreadnought is mentioned at the start of the film.
Yeah.
We get to see it now. The whole reason why the Daleks were discussing about Commander Sage acquiring the TARDIS and all that comes into play now, because there's obviously some sort of conspiracy, some allegiance going on. There's just lots of layers that are, you know, built up throughout, which, like you say, starts to pay off. This is arguably my favourite bit of, apart from her death, this is my favourite piece of Amy's acting, because you can tell she's just like going off on one super villain.
Oh, she's great.
Going for it.
I just want to take this opportunity as well, because I always wanted to kind of clear this up with the mask.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken to you about this a few times. That, you know, originally there was going to be a conversation, wasn't there, about why the Doctor wears a mask and no one else wears a mask?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just looks like a kind of
aesthetic
bit of edgy equipment. Yeah. And I think, to be fair, it was, once again, that was one of the references to Fallout, because that is a piece of equipment that you can wear in Fallout.
Well, it is briefly alluded to at the start when the nuclear explosion is about to happen and he puts the mask on.
Yeah.
But obviously the whole... he's in the death zone, which is an area on Gallifrey, which is like a barren wasteland.
Yeah,
and he's wearing that to breathe better. And yes, there was supposed to be a line of dialogue between the Doctor and Lupos, which explains that. But that's just me being forgetful and forgot to put the line in.
I don't think anything's lost, though.
No.
But someone might watch it and they might question why
know.
he's the only one wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Which is obviously ironic. I've just said that, and Mike is stood right behind him
wearing
with
a mask,
with a mask on as well.
once all is said
Which, if
and
any,
done,
you know, it was
you
a
shall
fabulous
escape in
little
your
mask that he had.
Yeah, where did he get that from? It's really
He
good.
found it under his bed. The many things that Mike just has under his
Turned
bed. That shot there, this shot here,
Yeah.
was right at the end of the day. There were about 3 of us left because Amy had to go at that point, and it was me holding the camera whilst you were holding the boom just at a shot.
I remember that. I remember that.
I call it gaffer tape filming. It was
Yeah.
just like the bare bones of a crew filming it. So I had the zoom and the camera whilst you were holding the boom mic
Yeah.
for yourself
Yeah.
for the lines. Like that, just for me, that moment summarises the togetherness of the week. You know, like it was such a thin crew, but
Yeah.
we made it work.
I mean, 6 days, wasn't it? The entire thing was filmed in 6 days, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, remarkable. Don't forget as well. Originally, you were going home
On the Saturday.
Yeah, on the Saturday, we had to
buy
nearly
another
reach-
train ticket.
Yeah, God, it was so bad. Love that shot. Just the
Never
Dutch
did
tilt.
trust them.
I really like it as well. Yeah,
See what levels they were willing to sink
just with all the trees being parallel to each other,
Yeah, yeah.
and Rani parallel with the trees.
ship up there.
It's a really cool effect.
And obviously the little bit. This was the bit I was concerned about the most. The whole, the perception filter mines, which are literally one line, which is almost like a comical effect thing. But like, I was worried, did it make sense?
Inspected our plans
Yeah.
for your
The
ship
perception
over
filter
and
mines.
over.
It's such an off-the-cuff comment that you can't even hear properly. But
Except
it's
for
obviously
those we
co-
weren't
it's-
able to detect.
quite an important
Everything's
payoff.
everything's intentional, isn't it? Whether
Yeah.
people realise it or not, every
Yeah.
line spoken is intentional. Wonderful effects there.
Yeah, I wish that was done better. But like you say, everything from here is just fabulous, and obviously Cook's 4 in seconds. It's just,
Yeah, it's just
absolutely
amazing.
phenomenal. And that was Amy on camera there doing that.
Yeah.
And it's just a lovely shot, the whole swinging back and forth as you beat the shit out of us.
I think as well, one of the things I was really happy with compared to previous Tricorums stuff, not to take anything away from you, John, Mike, anyone else who was ever in choreographed scenes.
Yeah.
The
Well, the preparation that went into this shot, it took hours just to practice it, and then we had, because we filmed this shot about 7 or 8 times,
Yeah.
and this was the only one I was happy with to use.
Yeah.
I felt there were deliberate points where I filmed like close to trees, so I could cut between if like certain parts of the second half of the shot were better than the first. But it was the way, just for this shot, the lighting from the sun lit everything just bright enough
Yeah.
that it didn't look a bit dodgy in post.
Well, this was during the massive torrential downpour we had, and we literally sat around for about 2 hours.
Yeah, John Singer, he used to work in Chicago,
Yeah.
and just the result, obviously, which it was practiced throughout. Everyone had their own points to start and watch, and obviously everyone who was there on the day. This guy in particular, Will, who came
Oh, yeah.
just for this day.
I loved that shot.
Did
by
a
the way.
tremendous job. But I remember John Brown telling me off I wanted to do this all as one take, but for me it's the highlight of the film. It just works
Well,
better
it was-
than I could have hoped.
Yeah, I mean, it was another thing that we'd said very early on was it would be really good if we could do a long shot,
Yeah.
like in Children of Men, like in John Woo's Hard Boiled.
Yeah.
Something to just kind of really. It was almost it's like a test. Let's see if we can do it.
You know what it is. In for lack of a better word, it's us flexing our filmmaker muscles. That's not me trying to sound big-headed, but it's one of those. Let's just see if we can do it.
Yeah,
And it just worked off splendidly.
and we did.
And we did, and it worked. Yeah.
And we were completely out of breath and
Oh God, me and you
soaked
like
at
having
the end of it.
cardiac arrests.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a video on our channel, on the channel, which is just each layer being added. So by all means, go and give that a watch.
listen to us breathing heavily
yeah.
down the microphone.
Very out of shape, going.
I mean, this is back when I was still smoking all the time as well, which wouldn't have done me any favours.
Oh God, yeah. And this was the infamous day. Do you want to tell them about the Grand National?
Yeah. So, because I think it was your choice, wasn't it? You had this
Location, yeah.
location in mind. You told me, where it was, and I was familiar with it, but I was a bit concerned because it was about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Because I remember a lot of kids are finishing school and
Yeah.
they walked by on the little ridge
Yeah,
above.
they did. Yeah.
And I just said, I'm not sure that it's going to be quiet enough for us to film.
Yeah.
But you were very, very confident
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it was going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, do you know what? Like, you filmed here before, I'll trust your judgments.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what happens? Literally 5 minutes into filming,
Two
horses just come down right through the middle of where we're filming.
Yeah.
We got to move everything out the way, move all the bags, move the camera.
Amy, and your face was just... You just looked at me with like that classic, you fucked up, son.
And that effect there, can we just say that effect? You didn't tell anyone about that. Because I remember watching it at the premiere and I turned to Mike and I was like, you didn't tell me about that. And Mike went, I didn't know.
Oh, the ground's cracking and shit.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, I love... The way this is all done is just fabulous.
Do you know, I love this fight. If there's one thing I could have changed, it's that it would have been a bit longer.
Yeah. No, I wish it had been too.
I wish we'd done more choreography.
Yeah, no, I agree.
A bit more fighting.
Because I had to edit the music down and everything. But I think that was just... we didn't think it through properly, I suppose. But
this was the last day, wasn't it? Because
it was the second to last day.
Was it the second?
We returned to this place, remember, for the four doctors at the end. And that was the very last scene we did. But this was the Friday with John Brown on boom.
I thought this was the same day we filmed all that stuff with them.
No. We did this on the Friday, then we did the long shot Saturday, and then we ended with the four doctors. Love that bit. So it looks like Amy's properly just knocking you the fuck out.
I love her smile, her evil grin.
Shout out to the original point that Amy was supposed to have those goggles on her head for the entire film. And just, we realised on day 2 that she hadn't, and it was just like, fuck's sake.
Also, I think it was the scene after where she's dying.
We had to reshoot because she wasn't wearing her gloves for half of it.
We had to reshoot.
We had to be reframed. Love that shot. Love that shot.
That was accidental, that wasn't it?
Well, I had the idea for it the day before filming.
Oh, right.
And obviously this being the payoff. Hopefully enough people went, oh shit, it's the Paradox grenade.
Yeah. Well, it's the little throwbacks, isn't it, where he sees himself.
What I loved, I remember pitching this to you, and this is one of the ideas that stayed very early on. Not just is there the twist of he saved himself with her tech, but there's the twist on top of that, which is it's his future self, but it's his future incarnation.
Yeah, the OG, the 11th.
Which ties it back in to original Tricorum stuff.
Yeah. Now, is this technically the 11th or the 14th?
This is technically the 11th.
Yeah.
Because he's wearing the same waistcoat and similar clothing that 11 in Adapt or Die is wearing.
I didn't realise you went to that extent.
Yeah, I went to that extent
really cool.
to tie it back in. Obviously, I would have shaved, but one, I didn't want to look 12 again.
Yeah.
And 2, the next day we were filming 14, who does have the beard. Obviously, they had the same doctor for all intensive purposes. Love that bit.
Yeah.
The gun kick, which took about 50 takes to do. Because I just wasn't... I was in the director's mojo, not in an acting mojo, so I was just shit. I wasn't happy with anything that I did.
It all looked great, though. It all looked great. Every shot here is just... Look at you.
Look at me, just wooden as fuck.
I'm wooden as fuck watching you.
Oh, saucy buddy. With the whole, little time travel things. A lot of my writing I've worked out plays on the bootstrap paradox.
Yeah,
which is the whole, a time loop, but where did that time loop start?
Well, I like the you kind of beat the loophole, how did you know it still worked? Well,
I saw my past self do it, and it's sort of like this idea of an endless loop of him seeing himself use the gun so he knows it worked. That focus pull with the ground shake in the background was by a complete accident.
I did notice
as you were getting up, the camera shifted focus, and I shook trying to get it back into focus. But it just looks like a tremor in the background.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Which again, just happy accident that I just decided to utilise and work.
I remember how tired I was at this point.
That was genuine. And
between takes, I just stayed lying down on the floor because I was like, to be honest, I don't really want to get up.
So that was one of the reshot shots because she's got the glove on there.
Yeah.
But all the close-up shots I've deliberately cropped a little bit so you don't see her hand.
Oh, right.
Obviously not enough that you really notice it. I love this little back and forth between you two.
Yeah. The light is really good here as well.
Yeah. The canopy's got breaks in it, and we were lying under one of those
just
breaks.
The fact that you can see the canopy in the reflection of my eyes, which I don't know if that's intentional or not. But
it was not intentional, but it works. It looks really good.
Yeah, really nice.
The only thing you can tell between the reshots is in the wider shots, Amy's hair is different. Like this strand here is parted behind her head instead. That's literally the only thing that would indicate that we've gone in and had to shoot those bits again.
Yeah.
But I like this. This added a layer to her character, which was at the end of the day, she doesn't want to die.
Angry.
She's just having a bit of fun. But at the end of the day, the fact that the Doctor's throwing away his last regenerations for a moral sense of righteousness, which, as she says, just makes her sad. And the Doctor thinks it would make her angry because he's still thinking of the rivalry, and she's obviously thinking of survival and
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because in the earlier conversation with Lupos, when Lupos asks, like, you know, if we all deserve to die, if Gallifrey deserves to die, then why are you trying to escape?
Yeah.
And the Doctor says the same thing, because I don't want to die.
yeah,
And it's interesting that in the if you bring it right back to basics, the Rani and the Doctor have got the exact same goal. They
Yeah.
don't want to die.
yeah. And there's almost a complete flip of his character, which is he realises how much of a knob he's being and he doesn't want to live.
Yeah.
But then right that last turn from the Rani about her being sad that he's going to throw away his last of generations gives him the inspiration to get back up again.
Yeah.
But he can't at this point. It's that visit of his future selves which
It's-
provides him the last
Yeah.
motivation.
It's like there's still, like, deep down inside, he doesn't want to. He doesn't think he deserves to live.
No.
Even if he wants to, he doesn't think he deserves it.
But he gets that last like panic if he doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
But that's not what gives his body like the final G up to get back up.
Yeah.
Also, I think the way this was edited, you'd think you tried to get up and fall down a lot more than you actually did. But it was just, I think you in the script you only got up and fell down 3 times. But the way it was edited, you'd think he was trying to go up like 6 or 7
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
which I think works out a lot better.
I really like this as well. It's just with the music as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really like, oh, it's happening.
He's actually
This
going
is
to
it.
die, yeah. Which is what I wanted. You know, if anything, we could have cut to the credits here and been like a massive bomb in the Tricorums lore of oh shit.
Well, that would have been a bit Lynchian then.
Yeah,
Because
of
it'd be
course.
like, well, we know he doesn't die, so what
Yeah, what the fuck.
are we missing here?
Yeah. But the 4 Doctors was actually a very late decision in the script writing process. Because originally he was just going to see all the dead time bandits around him and
Yeah.
decide, no, I've had enough, and gets in the TARDIS. And it was going to be quite a sombre ending. But this was 100% the right ending to do.
Yeah.
Because not only is it like a hook for people to go and watch our old stuff, but it's a far more upbeat ending of you are the Doctor. You know?
Yeah.
Which, you know, I feel like No More would have ended on like a bit of a missed opportunity if it didn't have this ending, because a lot of comments have said that this is their favourite scene.
Oh, it's great. I love it. I just John with his blazer, and you've got Mike in with his red shirt and stuff, and it's everyone went to like such an effort to make it as authentic as possible
Yeah.
to the rest of the Tricorums lore.
What I love is that obviously, you know, there's not a massive Tricorums following, but there was just one comment that said, I had a massive freak out when all the Doctors
Yeah.
appeared. And even if it was just for one person, that's the intended
Yeah.
effect, you know.
I'd like to point out as well, the funny thing about this scene was that me and John couldn't be on
Oh god,
shot
yeah, you were
opposite each
laughing
other,
like
'cause
complete idiots.
I don't know what it is about John.
John's
He just,
face just sets you off.
he just
doesn't it?
makes me. I just can't stop laughing.
No.
I can't stop
We
laughing.
can he's looking away from you there in that shot deliberately because he knows he'd start smirking.
Yeah.
Like he was talking to me in that shot then, not you.
Yeah.
Because I stood in place of you because you just kept cracking up and making him smile.
So I think it's any time where it's me talking.
That line there, the Alan Titchmarsh line, do you know? Classic. Well, what were you going to say? Anytime you're talking.
John wasn't stood opposite me. He had,
No,
to,
he
he had
wasn't.
to go off.
I booted him off because I was like, he'd obviously just turned up for the last day.
Yeah.
But I was like, listen, we've had a stressful week. If you're going to be a hindrance to the shot, you can get off my shot.
Well, he was in the long shot as well, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
he was.
Um,
Which is the infamous thing that I just mentioned in his wedding speech about him coming downstairs dressed as Dracula, khaki shorts.
yeah. He was like Steve-O in Dracula.
Yeah. And that's just a fabulous point where all the 3 Doctors reach out to him,
Yeah.
and obviously the music swells and it's all a bit fabulous.
Oh, now I do want to live.
Yeah, but it's not just that he wants to live, because he was like that before he couldn't get up.
No, I know, yeah.
But this is like he understands his importance to the universe.
Yeah, it's not about what he wants or what he doesn't want.
It's what
he
he's
feels he
destined
deserves.
to do.
Yeah.
You know, which is the whole. This is where the Morska storyline, Phoenix Costice storyline, Natalie Roberts, they're all destined to happen.
Yeah.
This is just him, and as the title drop, no more. Hey.
Oh, he said it.
He said it. roll credits. I love this bit, like
I really like this bit.
where the angle changes slightly, and you're looking at the TARDIS, and it's zooming in on you, and it's
Just-
zooming in on the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Music's swelling with it.
This bit ended up looking a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't know these bits are going to be in it. Which
What
just looks
did that
great.
do? Was that a nice little surprise on the day?
Oh, I love it. Just all the montage of like just everything that's kind of happened.
Yeah.
It ties it all in, and
Yeah.
it makes you remember that this is the same Doctor, and
Yeah.
it's as you say, these things are destined to happen.
Yeah.
And there we go.
And what I like is that Gallifrey is actually destroyed in this.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the show they reversed the decision with the 50th anniversary, but this is one of those universes where Gallifrey was destroyed.
Yeah.
And there's consequences of that, which if we do any future storylines, we will be alluding to.
There's my sunburn.
Your sunburn, you're looking like squashies.
Yeah.
Which I remember in the premiere, everyone just bursting out laughing because it was your sunburn, but it actually works out quite well with the whole harsh climate and everything.
Yeah.
And I loved this, where, reaching for the blood and his hand comes up and it's glowing.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of must have wrote this in just to let me do a regeneration inside the TARDIS.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because it's almost like a rite of passage to be in the TARDIS or have
yeah.
a
Now
regeneration.
some regenerations do happen outside of the TARDIS, like in the show, but it was just, this was like, he's safe, he's away, he can regenerate, and it's like the very first page of Adapt or Die.
Yeah. And also, what is Tricorums Doctor Who without the interior of John's
The
shed?
garage, yeah. That bloody garage, which I obviously framed so we'd get as little as possible in.
Yeah. And there it is.
And there it is. I remember someone commenting on it saying they would have preferred to have seen the full regeneration, but I think the way it cut to black there was just pretty definitive.
If people want to know what happens afterwards, go and watch it from the start.
Go and watch Adapt or Die if you can.
It is also a good laugh.
Yeah, of me and John running around caravans for 15 minutes.
Yeah. But I think it's always really interesting if you start watching No More and then you go back, but that it's going to end up with this kind of quality. So it's good to see where it started.
My original idea, something like teased in my head whilst I was writing it, was that the regeneration was going to finish. You'd see my Doctor and he'd pick up that book. He'd pick up that book that he's reading in Adapt or Die and start reading it. And it was literally going to start with. It was going to end with the start of Adapt or Die.
You could have filmed that with a flip phone as well, and just brought
just
it
for
full
the
circle,
ultimate full circle effect, yeah. And then you look at all the names repeated in these credits.
Yeah, but it's a lot less than what it usually is.
Yeah.
Where it's
everyone playing everybody.
Yeah, John Bowen, Jake Saunders, Mike Rhodes, John Bowen, Bowen, Jake Saunders.
Yeah, like the credits for Morticus is just the three of us repeated.
Morticus is great though.
I will say, shout out to John here, that he added levels to the story when I sent him the script. Like when I sent him the pitch, he added a few things to it, which is why he gets a story credit in there.
Yeah.
Because there were certain things, like the whole Rani Dalek allegiance was his idea.
Oh,
like the whole Daleks
enough.
And Time Lords double crossing their own race. That was his idea, which made it into the story.
I remember speaking to you while we were in Newcastle. We had a phone call, and you said that you've been talking to John quite a lot. This is like when you think you and him kind of had the back and forth with the script.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what the original plot was, but I do remember you telling me that John had changed it quite a lot.
Well, it was about just finding the happy medium, but if anything, the happy medium was a superior beast to both original visions.
It's not a criticism at all.
No, not
John's scripts are great. They're amazing. He's really good at writing full episodes.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
I so badly wanted to film a little stinger before the logo. Yeah. But so much has happened and changed since then that it would have been impossible to honour that stinger.
I think so, yeah.
As much as it would have been amazing. But there it is. For me, still the best thing Tricorums has done. Something that I am so astonishingly proud of.
Will return.
And yes, like it says there, Tricorums will return. I should say that we are planning to shoot something this late summer, early autumn, like a little short film. And I can say that whilst Doctor Who is a very complicated beast for people the wrong side of 25 to be doing, we are still very much trying to do more. And that is all I can really say for the time being.
Yeah, of course.
Any closing remarks, sir?
I just want to thank everyone for all the support. No More's been, I'd like to call it, a great success.
Yeah. What I really liked seeing is the little fan film community passes it around.
Yeah, getting those shout outs and stuff has been...
There's a really nice guy, I think it's Type 40, he's been on a load of videos saying, "This is why I sent you no more. So glad you watched it," and things like that. You know, he's really, you know, it's one of those that he's put it out there because, you know, there's a lot of Doctor Who fan films out there, and it's just nice that we also have a voice and we can go toe to toe with some of the bigger guns. And you know, it's like I said, it's just nice that hard work gets recognition.
Yeah. This definitely feels like we have with this.
Yeah.
The amount of praise we've had.
Yeah, Sorrow of the Bloodline, for some inexplicable reason, has a ridiculous amount of views, but I feel like out of all of those with the meaty views, No More is the one that justifies it the most in terms of like interaction and likes and comments and stuff.
Yeah, I think Sorrow of the Bloodline will forever be a mystery.
Yeah, I don't understand to this day how it has that many views, but it's a happy enigma.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, just so yeah, thanks to the fan community for all the support on No More.
Yeah, it's been very much appreciated.
And we still look at it every couple of days or so to see if there's any
we still check them.
comments and stuff.
We still check it all the time, and we end up just looking for comments, end up watching significant chunks and losing periods of the day to it.
Yeah.
Because that's just what we do. But yes, thank you very much for watching this. Probably just maybe Mike and Stevens at this point still listening.
Yeah.
In which case, get off Twitch and Rhino Radio. But love you all very much. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next video.
Yep, thank you very much.